Greetings. How are you this afternoon? Do better than that. I'm a retired college professor, Professor Emeritus from California State University, Monterey Bay. And it's been a privilege of mine to be a partner with the California State Parks for over 20 years, first with my students and now as a retired professor. So I'm going to put on my Parks volunteer hat as I introduce you to the PORTS project, which is Parks Online Resources for Students and Teachers. And this is a good prequel to the speech that you're going to be hearing later tonight in the keynote. The California State Parks, thank you. I hear the hiss, yes. The California State Parks is responsible for nurturing and supporting and presenting the natural and historic resources throughout the state of California. Some 20 years ago, when schools started reducing the number of field trips that they took to California State Parks, members of the California State Parks decided that they would get the state parks in front of students and their families through the use of what then they called electronic field trips. You now would probably use the term virtual field trips. That 20-year path has changed, and COVID was a major change, because during COVID, these one-on-one electronic field trips between a teacher and a classroom became between a park ranger, teachers, and her students at homes. That eventually became PortsCast. So this week, there are over 40 interpreters, rangers, having a one-on-one virtual trip between a park and a classroom. There are probably another 15 live streamed video conferences, video broadcasts, highlighting state parks, and then those are available for replay. And today, what we're going to do is give you sort of a smorgasbord look at what the PORTS project and what the electronic outreach vision is for the California State Parks. And with that, I give you the director of the PORTS program, Brad.
Thanks, John. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. I know I stand between you and lunch, so we'll make sure that this is timely. But we're really glad to present to you the PORTS program. It's a California State Park program. That's right. I work for your California State Parks. What John didn't mention is that he was integral in getting us off the ground with this program 20 years ago. That's right. So we've been doing live interactive video conferencing programs, mostly for K-12 education students, but now for a global audience through social media, YouTube channels, all of that. So let me just see by a show of hands, how many of you have kids in K-12 public education here in California? All right, a few of you. Have you chaperoned a field trip to a state park this year? No. Okay, yeah. Well, that's because they're not going on field trips to California state parks much anymore, right? 6.2 million kids in K-12 public education here in California, and not a lot of them have exposure to California state parks. And these parks obviously are places that present great opportunities for learning in their K-12 experience, but also for you with them on the weekends. And we're going to take you actually on a wonderful field trip around this state today. So I'm just going to do a couple quick background things. Like John mentioned, the PORTS program is Parks Online Resources for Teachers and Students. It started as this idea for K-12 education, but now it's kind of like this vital link for live video, right? So let's do this. There's a few things I want you to know about the PORTS program before you leave today, and I'll be around all day if you want to discuss anything about what we're doing. Number one, we have live, authentic experiences. Number two, it's meaningful. And number three, it's free, completely free programs, right? So it's all kind of summed up by this picture of me with two of our rangers in the North Coast Redwoods. This is Humboldt Redwoods State Park. And behind the gentleman, you can see kind of a plaque, right? And that plaque was put there probably, 70 years ago to commemorate Laura Mahan. She is basically the matriarch of saving the redwoods. She's the reason that we have redwood parks now, right? But yet it's this kind of lonely plaque sitting about a quarter of a mile down a trail in a park that you may or may not ever visit. And, it's just a plaque. But what we did is we brought two of our staff, myself, a couple other people, we hand carried all of these tools in, used batteries to basically present a live presentation for K-12 and for social media audiences about Laura Mahan. This was during Women's History Month, obviously a culturally significant month that we celebrate globally. And so we use this as our opportunity to tell the story of women's history through this plaque and this person. These two people are very passionate about Laura Mahan and Redwoods, obviously. The camera that you see is a 180-degree immersive camera, so we had a great field of view. We have the mic'd up. We're using basic tools here. I've got a Surface Pro. We've got a whiteboard. You know, this is not scripted. These are really just live, authentic, meaningful presentations. It's a little it's unnerving to be here with such high production quality value people. We do no post-production on any of this stuff, right? That's because teachers don't really ask us for this. They are really, really happy with these live, authentic videos happening in their classrooms. Social media, we don't see a whole lot of, you know, people asking us to do better quality, but that's why I'm here, because I really, really want to be able to have these storytellers come to light and highlight the parks that they are at so they can tell these stories for a global audience. We have lots of challenges, obviously, due to our diverse environments, but we like to make it so easy one of our rangers can do it, right? So I'm going to stop sharing for a second here. I'm running this program myself as well, just all by myself. We're going to bring up one of our parks. Let's see. This is a live Zoom call. This is all this is. If I was a teacher in 5th grade in LA, this is what I'd be doing. I'd be going, oh, man, there's somebody at the other end of this Zoom call. Hey, Brandon, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How's it going, Brad?
It's going good, man. How are you today?
I am living the dream at Point Lobos State Natural Reserve.
Where is that at?
This is about 1 hour and 10 minutes south of the Silicon Valley. So if you guys all wanted to come here after you're done today, it's possible.
No. How many of you have ever been to Point Lobos State Natural Reserve? We got quite a few of them. There's quite a few.
Big fans?
Big fans.
Excellent. Well, I just wanted to take a minute to showcase kind of what we do here at Point Lobos. With some basic tech tools, we have the ability to go live on a gimbal and an iPhone, and I can walk right down the trail showing people all kinds of cool stuff. This is a very active and mobile setup that we do. We want to keep these things engaging and fun and really see some cool stuff. But one way that we really push hard to show students cool stuff is by going not only here on land, but also we go by kayak. And so, if we look right here, we can actually see one of our presenters, Ashley. She is on a kayak there with another iPhone, and she's actually live with students right now in Whalers Cove. And so many of you guys may have parked over there right in the Whalers Cove parking lot, but this is just another way that we're using Zoom communications to really connect with students and do a good job at sharing with students these special opportunities here. So, I just wanted to take a second to shout out Point Lobos, and feel free to check out our topside live cam. And we'll be happy to answer any questions shortly.
Yeah, so Ashley actually couldn't join us today because she's doing her job. She's talking to kids. Do you know who she's talking to today, Brandon?
She's some students in El Centro.
El Centro. Anybody ever been to El Centro? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Raise your hand.
Imperial Valley, right by the Mexican border. So those kids are probably not going to get to go to Point Lobos on a field trip, right? But this illuminates this opportunity for them. So thanks for joining us, Brandon. I'm going to jump back to my presentation here, and we'll have some time for questions afterwards, I think, when we're done. But yeah, so basically, like I said, it's live and authentic, right? So easy that Brandon can do it. It's pretty easy. We have it so it's so easy. Teachers can do it. We put it on places like social media. But really what we do is we try to provide these meaningful real-world experiences. And this is what teachers tell us all the time. And this is what you're hearing from our audiences online, right? They want real-world experiences, maybe because they can't have them. Maybe it's to entice them to have them. For us, what we do is we have conversations with these experts. These are people who love their parks. They are scientists. They are historians. They are just people who are in love with what they do. And we try to bring them as close to the resource as possible. So I'm going to actually just bring up something real quick here.
So look at this moon jelly that's coming by. Moon jellies one of those incredible animals that is out in the open ocean a lot of the time, sometimes blows in here to the reef. We've actually seen quite a few moon jellies here in Point Lobos just within the last day or two. It seems like the tide pushed some of them in. This one looks a little bit chewed up because the rockfish that we saw a little bit earlier, that blue rockfish, they are jellivores. They love to feast on these little bits of jelly. There's no peanut butter fish out there, but a jellyfish becomes a really tasty treat for a lot of different animals.
Bad Ranger joke. Sorry, folks. But yeah, there it is. So this actually is footage from our live dives that we do from Point Lobos every year. And we do that for World Ocean Day. And we bring that out to thousands and thousands of students, and we put it on social media. That's because we're trying to bring people as close to the resource as possible, right? So we've actually created a way through partnerships and the knowledge of people like John Ittelson, Michael Slade, who's also here today, to actually have students talk directly to those divers, and then they talk back. So it's also a really great setup for what Dr. Ballard's doing in his keynote at the end of the day. But so we're doing all of that stuff. But really, it's all about this conversation with experts, right? So I'm actually going to bring up another good friend of mine. Hey, Steve, how's it going today?
It's going well. Hello, Brad. Hello, everybody out there in Silicon Valley. Good to have everybody join us. Giving you a quick view around Hendywood State Park, an amazing place where we get to explore the coast redwoods. I'm going to turn the camera on so I'm not talking to an empty screen there. Hello, everybody. My name's Stephen Yahelka, and I'm a park interpreter here at Hendywood State Park. And I actually just got off a call with a whole classroom from Pleasantville, or Pleasanton, which is not too far away, but from Hendywood State Park. We're up in Mendocino County, so it would take that classroom about 2.5 hours to get a school bus up here. But today we were able to really focus in on some important topics with today day and age. We were focusing on the coast redwoods and how much they do in the fight against climate change by connecting to our earth cycles and how these trees actually store so much carbon. And these trees are really amazing. And it's just such a cool connection to have with students to really show off the size of these amazing trees. California's state symbol that shares a lot of history with Californians, but these are natural wonders of the world. I wonder if has anybody ever been to the Redwood Forest? I'm sure probably.
Has everybody taken a trip to the Redwood Forest? Everybody? This guy's looking at me skeptically. He's not sure. There's only one person who might not have taken a trip to the Redwood Forest, but now you're there.
Absolutely.
Does it make you want to go?
Yeah. So the cool thing is that a lot of the students that we get to connect with, have not had the chance to actually come out and visit. And I always tell people, like, when you go to a redwood forest, you spend a whole lot of time actually looking up. So let's take a look at this massive tree. It's 15 foot across from one end to the other. But as we start to scale up this massive trunk, it just gives you a view. And I've seen students and their jaws just drop as they're looking up this thing, and it just keeps on going. And then point out that our first branch on this tree right there, that's already 100 foot up the trunk of the tree, and it just continues to reach skyward. As of course, these trees reach heights of over 350 feet tall. The tallest trees in the world, reaching way up into the sky. In fact, I love to connect them to our earth cycles because these trees effectively disappear into the clouds. And this is one way that they're able to unlock a hidden resource of water. They are able to get up to 40% of their water from drinking it out of the clouds and out of the atmosphere. I mean, talk about a tree that's like super extreme. I mean, these plants are some of the most extreme plants in all of the world, drinking water out of the sky.
Whoa.
Who's this?
I cannot stand for this kind of slander against some of the most extreme plants you're going to find in California, okay? Calling redwoods the most extreme. Give me a break. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to stand up for my plants down here at Anza Borrego Desert State Park. We are down about 2 hours east of San Diego here in the desert, in the southernmost area of California, in California's largest state park. And that's a little extreme for you just from the get-go. But I heard you mention that your redwood trees can get 15 feet across. Well, take a look at my cactus here. This cholla cactus here can have roots that extend out 15 feet in either direction just to try and capture some of the rainwater that the clouds aren't there to bottle feed like your little redwood trees. My name is Brianna Pinto, and I am a state park interpreter here at Anza Borrego Desert State Park, where I get to teach kids every day about the incredible life that we have that is so well adapted to the desert here. We've got things like the barrel cactus that can expand every time it rains to store water inside. This cholla cactus that can jump right out and give you a bite. And one of my favorites right here, the ocotillo. You're getting a really special chance to see this ocotillo with beautiful green leaves on it because we actually just got some rain yesterday. Normally, this big spiny plant here can live for... When it rains, these leaves here can come back in 24 hours. So we have got some of the most extreme plants here, not just one cool tree, but a whole diverse ecosystem of incredible extreme plants in the desert that I think you can't beat with your redwoods, Steve.
Oh, right. So they're nice and prickly. They're so spiny to keep all those herbivores away from the redwoods.
All right.
But I mean, how much do they actually store? Wait, no, give me a moment, Brad. How much do they actually store? I mean, these trees start off with a seed that's like the size of a pepper seed, and over hundreds of years grow to the size of a massive redwood. And talk about a solution for climate change. These trees are climate champions, still locking away tons and tons of carbon dioxide that's harmful in our atmosphere. I mean, they are one of the biggest carbon sinks in the entire world.
Stop with all this carbon sequestration. We got kelp. We got giant kelp. I got 3 types right here. I got this brain-looking type. I got this standard type that everybody loves. And then I got this big dog. This thing was so huge, it was like 20 feet long. Way more carbon sequestration just in this one piece right here.
Like I said, guys, they're going to eat their lunch soon. So we can't be arguing about carbon sequestration, on a Tuesday, but thank you for that. That's what we do, folks. This is what we do for teachers. I heard in the panel before, right? Content is king, right? We all know that. Guess who's got really, really great content for people? California State Parks. The parks are the place to do all this wonderful stuff. I know. And we have the wonderful people that do it. So yeah, there is your tour around the state. As I mentioned before, authentic, meaningful, but we do this all for free. Right? This is completely free for K-12 education. We have a great access initiatives that we're working with to translate virtual field trips into in-person field trips. We, of course, would love to have all of these people out bigger on social media so that there's more people visiting parks responsibly in responsible ways. But absolutely, what a wonderful way to get the point across that California State Parks is here for you. Come visit. And the way that we do that to make it free is that we have partnerships. Zoom is our biggest partner. We are so proud to be partnered with Zoom. All the tools that you see that we use today, we're just running this through a live Zoom call. Brianna we just launched a Starlink where she is. Connectivity is looking really good, I can tell you, because I've watched connectivity there come and go over the years. Brandon's on just like a 4G or a 5G cell network. Steve has the ability to use a wireless backpack and hike it in. So we've got all these really great tools. If you have tools, if you have ideas, if you want to help us make these things better, we'd love to talk to you after this presentation as well. But I've got about 8 minutes left, so I'm just going to go back to this real quick here and ask, I think this group's small enough. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask these guys? Yeah. Yeah, what happened during COVID? That's a really good question. Let's get rid of that. So what happened during COVID? So prior to COVID, obviously, teachers were not using distance learning very much. But then COVID hit, schools got shut down. And actually, my team, these people that you see right in front of you, basically said, we've got to do something for teachers and parents at home. So basically, overnight, we turned on a bunch of Zoom tools. We figured out how to use Zoom webinars and what you guys would refer to as a virtual event now. We started creating virtual events on the hour, every hour, for the public to join from a state park. So there was somebody in a kayak talking about kelp. There was somebody at Hearst Castle giving a tour. There was somebody up in the redwoods, in the desert, all these places. And we basically saw the adoption rate from teachers, then obviously the adoption rate online, how people interacted with live video online went through the roof. So we evolved at that time, and now we want to evolve again. We're looking at production tools. How do we make these things even more bomb-proof, right? Because the biggest thing for our staff is a teacher is going to get a Zoom link. We want to make sure that they're there, that they can connect with them, and that we can meet the needs of their students at that time. This school year, we will deliver probably close to 6,000 or 7,000 individual presentations from 50 different California state parks for over about 350,000 students. And if you know anything about California K-12 education, 6 million kids in public education, 300,000 of them now are going to have engagement with California state parks. That's not bad. It's actually more than that are taking field trips to California state parks. I am a purist. I'm not here to replace field trips, just like AI is not here to replace your job. This is never going to replace a real field trip. But the fact of the matter that when you have kids in El Centro, California, talking to somebody in the redwoods or on a kayak to kind of inspire and make them think about what it would mean to go there. And then, of course, we want them to be welcome when they get there. So thank you for that question. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, do you have somebody that, like if I'm a teacher, like, oh, this is I can choose this version or this version, or how would that start if I was a teacher?
Awesome question. And the question is, how does a teacher get engaged with this, and how do we make sure that they get what they need? So if you go to our website, we book all of our programs through an online scheduling system, just like you would for like a barber shop or a yoga studio. We took an off-the-shelf tool basically and repurposed it for our needs. But everything's on our website. So teachers will go and say, put keyword search kelp, ocean, deserts, government, immigration, whatever. And if we have something for them, they'll see all the times that are available. Now with 300,000 educators, that's right, 300,000 teachers in K-12 public education, not all of them get these programs. So we book these in the spring and then in the fall. So we launch it. So we have a ports launch, and we book basically all of those programs in about a 1 week period. We add more. But then what we did is, and this is part of the evolution, was we have now ports casts. So we also have a schedule of events that teachers can learn about if they're on our mailing list, and I'll hand out some cards afterwards if you want to get anybody on that mailing list that lets them know when those broadcasts are. And again, those are just Zoom webinars. They go to our Zoom platform, Zoom registration. Zoom's important to have in K-12 education because it's also a trusted partner in education now, right? We know that teachers can actually access a Zoom link in a school district. And then we also put it on YouTube for those who are not. So we're trying to make it as accessible as possible. Does that answer your question? Yeah. So internally, I mean, that's these guys' job, right? So it's their job basically to be out there. So we have a whole community of people just like them. We have monthly trainings. We have an annual training where we meet at our state training facility. We try to bring in as many storyteller coaches as we can. But really, yeah, what you see is, Brianna, how long have you been working on this job?
I just started my dream job in October of last year.
Yeah, so we have this network of people in here that kind of just do it. And there's about 100 people like this around the state who do this, and then maybe on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, then they're doing the museum tour, or they're doing the in-person tour. Just really, we're building this as a part of the culture of what they do for what we call interpretation, which is this outreach and education in park spaces. Great, I've got 3 minutes, one more question. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the question is it for K-12 education only? It's kind of where we started, right? But we know that it's not just where it can go. So California State Parks Facebook page has, 158,000 followers. My goal, or what I'd really like to see, is a digital twin to everything that we do in a park. So if there is a free tide pool walk at Crystal Cove State Park, there's somebody also giving that tide pool walk using tools like this, so that not only 20 or 30 people can join it, but then you've got thousands online as well.
Hello. I want to jump in here now because I play a role as a partner. Brad is a state employee, and he is the lead for the Cal State Parks. But there are volunteers like myself who are partnering with them. When you heard that diver under the water talking about that jelly, did you hear the diver clearly? Have you ever heard divers try to talk underwater? We had a sound technician who actually worked for major singers, somebody like U2 or something anyway, who he said, we have this problem. We can't get good audio from divers, and we need the students to be able to speak to the divers, and we need the divers to be able to speak back to the students. They helped develop an audio system that took care of those sounds. We have partnered with other people like Time Looper, new people working in virtual spaces. So part of my pitch here is Brad's going to say, come support the parks. I'm going to say, come support your parks. Go to your park, get your friends to go to the park, encourage their friends to go to the park. But I want to encourage this community to be a partner with the state parks. We have technologies, we have resources. You were talking about planning. A lot of these shows now we're using rundowns that would be traditional from the broadcast industry because these are a program. When they were a classroom event, it was a partnership between the teacher and the interpreter. But now we're finding broader audiences and broader resources. Can you think of a better set of locations? And you only saw 3 of the 280 state parks. So there are incredible opportunities for the creative and technology media space to help the California State Parks. So that's my putting my hand out, and there will be a quiz.
Now, we're just really glad to be here to kind of bring this out to you guys. We'd love to talk with you more about how we can do it. But I'm really, really proud of what we've been able to build. I've done this for 20 years, trying to bring this because I believe that students need to know about these places, especially here in California. There are some incredible stories that we have to tell to our young people so that they know what's there for them when they get older and they go out and explore. And yeah, it's really fantastic to be here talking with you. And with that, we are out of time. Have a great day. I'll be around for some questions.
I think we need to thank our rangers.
And we need to thank these guys. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.